showed up. What was everybody thinking? I mean, did they think you're changing the whole way people are racing or what?
The guys that really knew what was going on said, uh-oh.
Yeah.
They knew something was coming when they unloaded it. But a lot of the other guys with the little pails and stuff, they thought this was too much of a box. And it just wouldn't work. You needed a little tail, like a big sprint car or something is what they thought. They didn't realize the turbulence was
It's a whole different world from a roadster to something flat. This is a tank chassis.
They were making terrible turbulence. Nobody realized it.
Yeah.
Until we proved it didn't work.
That open wheel sitting out there is not real clean.
Yeah.
I remember Don Waite with his roadster one time that he found that if you took cardboard and streamlined it was semi-streamlined in the front, but he boxed it in the back, and he'd pick up 5 miles an hour. The only thing is, it was cardboard and masking tape, and every day he'd run it, they'd get wet, they'd come off, and he had to do it all over again.
We were so naive on aerodynamics, but we really hit it.
Who was the factor on your aerodynamics on this?
The book on Auto Union. They had their, on Auto Union, they had their wind tunnel tests.
Oh, did they?
In a book. Dean had the book. Dean Bassett.
Yeah.
And he says, read this, the wind tunnel test. They took a Grand Prix car and closed this.
Yeah.
The frontal area increased 50%. The drag coefficient went down 50%. But it was right in the book. So he said, we're going to Bonneville. Let's do this. So it all came from that book in the wind tunnel test. And of course, Goldie Gardner, I don't know if you remember that little G-string line. Well, it was like this. So we kind of got that idea too from them.
It's amazing stuff that came out of Europe.
Yeah.
My dad used to read a lot of those books on the engine.
Roof I read all those fuel, different mixtures that the Germans were using.
Yeah.
A lot of guys did that. A lot of the smart guys.
Yeah. When Alex had the tank in 1952, I was at Bonneville, and we were running 40% nitro. My dad was using flathead valves out of a flathead Cadillac. Well, they were never made for nitro method. Right. But they were the right size, the only ones he could find. There was nobody making valves and engines, like that. And so we get it all set up, and it's 40%. We're racing against Ray Brown and another tank, and he's got a DeSoto, Hemi DeSoto or something like that, but just methanol in it. And Alex's car, the tank would beat him by 2 miles an hour, I think, going down. And you go down, and I'd be with him, and you hear that engine running back, and it got right in the middle of the traps, and 4 cylinders went out. It just tuliped the valves. So they didn't want anybody to know what the hell we're doing. So we were staying at the motels U-shaped like this, in the back area. So they sneaked the cars behind there, and then we would go eat an early dinner, and then we go in there like we're going to bed wrong. The bathroom window would go out. Through the bathroom window you'd climb. They'd start the lights back there. What the 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I got to clean the carbon.
Changing the valves.
And it was the tank, and it was Don Waite's roadster. They had the same combination, and he was doing the same thing. So you did 2 days in a row.
We beat the Chrysler, and then he beat us, and we beat him. We changed records about 4 times in 4 days.
Yeah.
But we finally...
We couldn't make it through for the both-way record.
Right.
But, and I remember, of course, I'm like 15 years old, and they're saying, well, that's the end of the flathead.
Yeah.
So all went in the room, they started drinking vodka and squirt, and got drunk, and they got me drunk, and we went to dinner at the railroad deal, and I ordered all this food because I was young and growing, and they thought of my growth because they never fed me. And
those were the days.
I got a little blue behind the gills and ran out and laid something on the railroad track. So I didn't have any dinner. I never could look at vodka and squirt again. It made me sick.
Oh.